Hi, Gwenters, and welcome to a Firesworn Friday. We are going to be doing a reprise version of Collusion version 2.0. This one is going to use Passiflora, Collusion, and then the Igor Fallen Knights package to get a bunch of tempo, lots of point slam, but we're also going to do some tricky business with Decoy here. And the biggest thing I'm going to say about this deck, I want you guys to post your versions in the comments below, because I think there's a lot of fun stuff you could do with this template that I'd really like to see what you guys are able to develop. So you could actually like strip out Passiflora and Collusion, for example, and use I think Philippa Eilhart would be a good option. Bincy Blummervolt is good with this. And then you could also do some really crazy stuff with Savola, actually. And the reason for that is because so many of these cards that are part of the Syndicate faction rely on these tributes. And if you haven't played them much, I think the basic way to describe this is to think of it as a bit of like Northern Realms Plus, where they require a lot of stuff to happen before you can make something really big or helpful happen. And that might be like with Northern Realms is the boosting units for inspired, or orders where you need to wait a turn for them to be valuable. Now with Syndicate, it comes down to your coin count, and these tributes are going to be really important for those coin counts. So for Savola here, as one example, he is going to cost 9, but if you have 9 coins, really 7 because he's going to get you 2, but you need to get 9 total, which is the max number of coins you can get. But if you can get to that 9 coins, he is going to play for 6 points. Yes, that's fine. For 9 provision cost card, that's not super great. But if you play him with those 9 coins, he is going to spawn this Savala's Frightener, which is an 11-point card with 6 armor. And that's really key, in my opinion, because with Decoy, and I don't have him in my deck, so I'm just saying I want to see if you can build him into a deck, and I'd like to see that. But with Savala, you can actually use this Decoy, play it on Savala, and then you can spawn that Frightener all over again. You could get 2 plays out of it, and for that reason, we're going to be running a Neuromancy just to get some better draw consistency. You could also use Vivaldi Bank in addition to this, or instead of Oneiromancy, but I really think Oneiromancy is worth the money. But Decoy you can use on those cards that spawn and proc all of these other things, and you can use them twice. And we are going to focus on 2 cards with this deck. Number 1, Azar Javed. He's really important here because he's not actually the defender, instead his Scarabs are. So we're going to be able to spawn Scarabs twice, so a total of 4 Scarabs if we want to, because he has the 3 coin profit that equals the 3 coin tribute, so he can always pay for himself. But we can use him twice in just one deck. Nobody else can really do that. I mean, like maybe Nilfgaard with a Seer or Skellige with Lippy can flip those back, but Decoy's going to get that for us. And because we have Decoy, we're going to run Couriers. They're 5-point plays, so they're just like good points on the board, helpful card, but they allow you to look at either the top of your opponent's deck or the top of your own deck, and move one to the top. So that way you just know what you're going to be playing with Decoy, because if you haven't played with it or you haven't seen my Ethereal Decoy deck, you might not be familiar. But basically, Decoy is going to shuffle a unit on the battlefield into your deck and then play the top unit from your deck. And Decoy is just awesome nostalgia for me. If you played Gwent in Witcher 3, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, everyone can repent. They can go get Witcher 3 and they can play it. That includes you. So get out there, go play some Witcher 3. Play some Gwent in Witcher 3. Totally worth it. And then Collusion is just this just really unexpected play that is a really excellent win condition that I think personally you can just get these awesome value from. Crown Splitter's cut-ups, boost lowest ally by 4, damage an enemy unit by 4, and all you have to do is play this Bloody Good Friends to get both of those, because they are Crown Splitters and cut-ups. So you can play them down. You don't even have to do anything. They just play for 5. You play Collusion. You're going to damage an enemy unit by 4, and then boost that unit by 4. Boom, boom, boom. You have 9 points out on the board, and they have lost 4 hit. They've taken 4 damage to their highest unit as well. Really helpful against monsters, I've found specifically, which Syndicate, in my experience, has really kind of struggled against. But if you're playing in a long round, you can get a blind eye out there. It's going to actually boost your lowest unit by 5. It's going to damage an enemy unit by 5. You're going to spawn 3 Firesworn Zealots. And if you have a Tide Cloak out, you're going to gain 5 coins. So just a bunch of good stuff you can get out of that. Now, last thing I'm going to say before we jump into this, there are a lot of people are just kind of auto-including Bomb Heavers. So that's why we want the double Azar Javed. And then we really want to protect Igor the Hook, so we can get max value out of him, and then also potentially Imki as well, so we can get max value out of Imki, just get those constant coins coming in for some of our engines, which we'll run through as we play. But the other thing we really want to be aware of, if we get into a situation where we can't use the decoy on Azar Javed, say we can't draw him, say we can't draw Neromancy, just really, really bad luck, we can actually play it on Flying Redanian for a free extra play. And the couriers are what we're going to use to line up to get that exact card we want. They also can play really well. We're not running it in this deck, but if you want to play Excommunication, you can just make sure that you're getting the top card that you want to. You can banish one of the Scarabs instead of needing to banish one of your Firesworn to get the exact card from the top 3 that you want. So that's a good way you can use that too. But what we're able to do here is play this decoy onto the Flying Redanian. It's going to go back into our deck, and so long as we have 7 coins because of our leader ability, where hordes require 2 less. See, this horde is 9, it's only going to require 7. So as long as we have 7 coins, he is going to come back, or she, I guess, as it is going to come out of our deck and is just going to get played to a random allied row again, plus the card that we played from the top of the deck using decoy. So it's just like an extra card play that we wouldn't get normally, and then the Flying Redanian is going to come back out there again. So Excommunication is not going to be able to allow you to do that, and it's a 6-point card. So decoy is actually a little bit more valuable onto the Flying Redanian than Excommunication is. You say, why is that? Well, because Excommunication is a banish. So the Flying Redanian would just get banished, and that would be deeply unfortunate because it is kind of just a persistent spawning thinning card. So anyway, let's just jump into a game. And if this deck is still really confusing, if you don't get Syndicate, please post a comment down below. I'm thinking about doing a mini series. I just don't know how much traction it would get. So if you guys give me that feedback, it'd be really helpful for me to understand how much the community and all of you wonderful subscribers want out of this. And then last thing I'd say, please subscribe, please like. It really helps the channel. We're almost to 100 subscriptions, and that's just super empowering for me. I'm really excited about the new content we're creating here, the better aspect ratios. It's a bunch of fun, and I'm really enjoying it. So, but let's jump into a game. So the biggest things I'd say to be worried about with this deck: Bomb Heavers on Passiflora, and then also just thick removal. I complained about this earlier this week, but this is just kind of a gross season of removal where it's kind of just measuring who can do more removal than the other one. I think the Thirsty Thursday deck from yesterday is really good as a removal deck, but also as an anti-removal deck as well, because, and this is why I think, you know, the highest ranked meta deck by Team Leviathan is a hidden cache deck, in my opinion, is a lot because of that Philippa Eilhart steal. And when you're able to not just only remove the enemy unit, but to steal them over to your side, you get big point swing and a lot of flexibility out of that. That's just really, really valuable. So just something to be aware of. So I have no idea what this guy's playing, but I will tell you something that is commonly played using that leader ability is the Vautier combo, where they'll use Petrie's Filter. Well, let's get into this and then I'll explain it. So Flying Redanian's Brick, we definitely want it in the deck. I'd like to get one Fallen Knight, which we have with Igor, and then if we could, I would really like to, we only need 2 of these blind eyes. Of course, Blacksmith is fine, but we don't need him. Alright, so we got lots of couriers. Okay, so the thing I would really like to get out here is Azar and then be able to play decoy onto him. I'm not sure we're going to be able to do that. What we could do maybe instead, actually, though, is filter Igor back into our own deck. And I think the best way for us to do that is going to be to play one of these couriers. The other thing about couriers, lots of stuff with Syndicate. They are blind eyes. So let's go ahead and do this. He is Nilfgaard. Alright, so I don't really care much about any of these. We'll just go ahead and put street urchins there. It doesn't really matter. But we'll use hidden cash. That gets us 3 coins. And then we'll use Tiger's Eye, which gets us up to 7. And the top card of our deck was Flying Redanian. So it's now out. And that's just really kind of helpful. But anyway, these blind eyes, because they're blind eyes, they will trigger the chapters on the scenario for Passiflora. Also would have really liked the Sewer Raiders just to get out a thinning card. So this deck usually is pretty good with consistency, but it can struggle sometimes, just kind of depending on what's going on. Bloody Good Friends is going to be good to remove those because they actually do damage against the boost. So we can play them, kind of get that point slam all at once at the end. I think I kind of just want to suss him out a little bit more. We need to make sure we keep 2 blind eyes for Passiflora, but I have 1, 2 right there, and we know the next card that we're going to draw is Street Urchins. So we're going to be just fine with blind eyes linked up with Passiflora, just something to keep in mind. Alright, Assassination is annoying, but certainly not the end of our day. Now, in terms of Tide Cloaks, there aren't a ton, but Sewer Raiders, Imki, Sea Jackal, those are all Tide Cloaks. They're going to get you coins with Collusion. Really good with a Bincy Blummervold, actually, because that's going to get her 5 coins if you have a blind eye out as well. Boom, 5 points. Really great. So let's go ahead and boost him up to 7. That's going to protect him from an assassination. And then, so if you're not familiar with Imposter, you're gonna lock an enemy unit and spawn a base copy of it to the opposite row. So it can be problematic sometimes with putting that lock, but then also getting a base copy of your passive engine onto the opposite side of the board can sometimes be a little worrisome. All right. Now I think here what we're gonna do. We actually can. I know we're gonna get 1 more of these street urchins, so we can go ahead and play this.
They've so damn much. Anyone teach them to share?
And we're gonna go ahead and put him in. I'm just a little bit worried about him getting removed by poison, just because this is Nilfgaard. But I kind of want to suss out those deep removal cards this round. So, and the way that this deck is often played, if you're not aware, they will play it. Alright, 1 second, let's do this. They will play a Petrie's Filter, which boosts a unit by 3 and gives it Zeal. And then Vautier de Ritero is an order unit that will just destroy a... I have to remember. I think Vautier, sorry, does not destroy. He seizes a locked unit. So they can go ahead and like lock this Sea Jackal and then use his order ability right away to swing it over to his side. And because this is first round, I'd be fine with him doing that.
But don't get used to it.
Let's remove this shield, give it bleed, and then we'll go ahead and knock down that unit by 1. So we're up by 7. And he still gets that 1 passive point every round. So just something for us to be aware of. Now this is Hefty Helga is a great engine. If you saw my deck from last time, it's really, really good value. I mean, this is I guess he's gonna use this for boost, so that's gonna protect him from that damage. Boom, there we go. So he's gonna tie this up, and I am fine going into the next round as a tie, or as with him as a card down. So we'll just go ahead and see what he has. But I don't really want to play my Fallen Knight right now, especially while he has that charge, and Igor plays best when he can actually damage himself. I'd like to get Imki out to get a little bit more value. So, you know, lots of things that I would prefer to be doing. And I don't really want to play into that Helga too much, just because it's such a great engine, and I didn't have a great way of removing it. Okay, we got our Neuromancy, and I think this round we'll plan on playing our Passiflora, just to chase him out of the round. Bloody Good Friends is really good with Collusion, but I'd rather have Collusion, which I was able to get. We got Cut-Ups, Firesworn, Blind Eyes, so really good options here, and then we're able to see the top card of our deck. So I'm actually pretty happy, even though we have missed Ozar. This is still going to work out for us. Now, Decoy does not work on artifacts. It only works on units. So we can't shuffle back in Passiflora. If you could, I think it would be a broken card and be overused like nobody's business. Let's see if he goes ahead and does a dry pass. I think he'll probably want to put some pressure on. Let's go ahead and see. If he dry passes or kind of goes soft here, I think we'll still have some really good flexibility. Alright, Ardfane Tortoise with Turkinol is a really good play. He's still down a card though, so. And then we'll go ahead and play this. We'll get out Passiflora. And then I'm planning to play these Street Urchins. So because I'm planning to do that, I'm going to go ahead and use a shield on Sly Seductress. He could use a Tourney Joust, but he did already use one, and a lot of times... Oh, he used two, actually, so we are good. But she is really susceptible to Tourney Joust just because she'll take that shield removal and then take the 4 points and boom, boom. So that shield did a good job of absorbing some damage right there. Now we'll just get out this Street Urchin. And we need to get a couple more coins. I think we're in an okay spot. We do need to catch up to him. We need to get 3 more coins in order to pull out Flying Redanian. I'm just deciding whether or not that's an actual possibility this round. But we do need to sit at 2 coins for these Passiflora Peaches. So let's just make sure we can beat him, because we're going to gain 1 point, and then if he passed, we could go ahead and pass, and we'd still be a card up. So to me, that's just a little bit more valuable. I want to make sure I'm able to do that.
Target acquired.
Assassination on them was fine, but I would have targeted Passiflora Peaches. They're just a better engine. I mean, they were a value of 5. They're going to be a value of 6. So in my opinion, that was a bit of a misplay. And then with this, we're going to gain 6 coins. So we're going to go ahead and play him to range.
Without hesitation.
And then let's put Bloody Good Friends on top. That way we'll play them, and then we have a really good combo with Collusion that we can get some really good value out of. And then out comes Flying Redanian here for us as well. It also sandwiches these Passiflora Peaches, so we get some value there. And when we play this Collusion, it's going to do damage to either this Ardfane Tortoise or this one, which, you know, they're armored, but it's going to remove all of that armor and get us some really good value. So, and then here, I'm actually going to play Igor, and we're going to just go ahead and spawn another one of these Sly Seductresses. And the reason for that is that way they get bonded. Now, Peaches would be a great just passive play, but the bonded I think is going to be actually more valuable for us. Now let's see what he goes ahead and plays here, but Ozar is really good play normally, but Collusion is going to play really well around Ozar, so not super worried about that. He does want to defend something. It might be Vautier. I don't know. We're just going to have to see. But I think here we'll get out a Fallen Knight. And then we will use Igor to spawn another Fallen Knight. That'll boost up that one. And we pretty much put this round away. We know we're going to draw into that Bloody Good Friends which is going to be some real good value with our Collusion. I'd really like to get a Tide Cloak. Imki would be really good, just so we can get the coins here. I think would be really good value. But we do have Oniromancy, so that's gonna be fine. Sea Jackal works really well. So we'll definitely get the coins, and he's actually good spend here. Probably better than Bloody Good Friends, although he's gonna be a big target. So we might actually have to end up playing him like second to last. So I think actually I'm gonna probably put him back in the deck. Okay, not the best move here, but we'll go ahead and use Hidden Cache. Sewer Raiders are just a good slow tempo play on blue point.
Back home.
Get out a buddy, and then we just kind of have to choose who we want. Might be Azar, just to protect from this imposter. And I think we'll just play everything to melee row, and that'll work fine. And we can actually just play this decoy onto the scarabs, and that should work pretty well as well. Just make sure we're removing all of the value from this imposter deck.
Allow me to show you.
And we've got Tide Cloaks. Salamandra have no synergy with Collusion, so you might just want to take out Azar and just embrace the fact that you're going to be more vulnerable, but have a little bit better tempo and cadence. So it's kind of up to you what you want to do with this deck, right? So.
No mercy!
Alright, out comes Fion, or Fifion, however you want to pronounce his name. He's normally a little concerned about him with a Damien Delatour, but this Roderick's only going to be able to be pulled over for 4 points, and he can do that twice if he wants, I guess. But what I'm actually going to do here is just remove this Roderick, just in case he has coup de grace. That way I don't have to worry about it. Let's see, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds left. Let's protect Von Hurst here. So then he's going to spawn these Firesworn Zealots.
Remove his cowl, then his ears!
Now this doesn't actually do any damage.
I'll defend the Duquesa to my dying breath.
Okay. So Congregation does have to get played to the same row. So we might play Collusion first once this row gets stacked up. We do need to protect these guys. I don't want them to be vulnerable to imposter. So we're just kind of really just playing around that leader ability right now. Let's go ahead and see what he does. Yeah, I think Collusion will have to get played first. And we are now up to our 9 cards, so this row is totally full. And there's Vautier, like I said, so he's going to seize a locked enemy unit.
Proceed according to
So we'll just go ahead and see what he does here. But he's pretty much just going to be grabbing Zealots from me, so. Alright, so we are going to get to 9 coins. So let's do this first. We'll get to 9 coins. Well, actually, let's just remove 2 of these first. Just in case that damage procs against him.
remove his cowl, then his ears.
So we're fine. Oh, we don't have a blind eye. Sorry, my bad. So we only have 6, so we're not getting out Flying Redanian. And that's fine. And I am not transforming these because I don't want him to get more value out of this imposter, right? Like, I want him to be forced into taking 2 2-point cards. I mean, so he's going to get 4. I guess he takes the Scarabs, which is interesting. Oh, my lowest unit did get boosted here, so that's why he's done that. I forgot about that with Collusion.
You are worthy neither
So that was a little bit
nor forgiveness.
suboptimal for us. That also opens up a spot for him for you Super General. So he did actually get some pretty good value here. And he did. I should have played around that a little bit better. We should have just gone Congregation and forced his hand.
Yes, you.
But that is
Have you made your offering?
So we need to make sure to keep 2 coins, so we proc 1 more. This is just a guaranteed way of getting points for us. And it looks like we are going to miss out this game just by 1 point. So that was a little bit of my bad, but you know, you can see how had I played that correctly, this would have been a clear win for us. We just should have played that Congregation first. Would have given him only a 2-point target instead of a 5-point target. But I think through this, you've seen how to play 2 decks, right? So, and a lot of this has been kind of explanations of Syndicate. So even though this might not be the ultimate deck, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of things you can do with it. And like I said, I want you guys to play around with this, copy this deck list, and fine-tune it a little bit. I can only play so many games, and I want you guys to get out there and show me how you would get this done, because I think there's a lot of innovators out there who are part of this channel and have joined up on Discord and you know, tweet at me on Twitter, but especially Discord is where a lot of this magic happens, where we think of really cool ideas for these decks. And I just think the potential of this deck is as of yet untapped, and I want to see what you guys can do with that. So with that, thank you guys so much. Get out there and keep on Gwenting. Bye.